Welcome to the OT, presented by Ford.
And welcome aboard, everybody. It is time to wrap up what has happened so far in Week 7, led by the Kansas City Chiefs, remaining the only undefeated team in the league. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, who called the game in just a bit. But first, let's get to the highlights we've got for you, starting with the Washington Commanders hosting Carolina.
Jaden Daniels, young quarterback for the Washington Commanders, out with an injured rib. Right here on this play, you'll notice he's caught right there. He goes down, does not return, but Marcus Mariota comes in and does a great job in his stead. Coming in, looking, rolling right. Completes this to tight end Zach Ertz in the back of the end zone on a crossing route. 2 touchdowns for Marcus Mariota and 203 yards. 40-7, though, the Commanders over the Carolina Panthers. Raiders at the Rams. Aiden O'Connell left the game with a broken thumb. Quarterback for the Raiders, Gardner Minshew, his replacement, comes in. He's hit by Kobe Durant. Cam Curl picks it up, Howie, goes 33 yards for the touchdown. Rams get their second victory on the year, 20-15 over the Raiders. Big game on Fox today. Lions at the Vikings. David Montgomery fumbles, and Ivan Pace Jr., he scoops it up, and here we go. 36-yard touchdown down the right sideline. 2-point conversion would be no good. Minnesota up 29-28. And then Jim Bates comes in, nails this 44-yard field goal. Detroit now swept. The Lions have won the last 4 games over the Minnesota Vikings, 31-29. Saquon Barkley, former New York Giant running back, going back to play against his old team in New York, takes his hand up, bounces outside. Put on the speed, and here we go, Howie. Down the sideline, Howie. Okay, Howie, thank you. 55 yards. Thank you for adding something to that. Then later on, Barkley goes.
Or did you want me to interrupt you?
Something.
Well, I don't want to break your rhythm.
No, I have no rhythm.
I know that.
176 yards rushing on the day for Barkley. 28-3. Philadelphia beats the New York Giants. I'll be quiet. Seattle Seahawks and Geno Smith, the leading passer in the NFL after 6 games, back and down the middle. Cover 2, both safeties that split. DK Metcalf beat the corner that was on top of him. 31-yard touchdown, then later Metcalf would have to be carted off with a knee injury. But Seattle retained, will go back into first place, 34-14 over the Atlanta Falcons. Stephon Diggs, wide receiver for the Houston Texans, getting a little practice in against the Packers. Didn't do him any good. Joe Mixon in from 4 yards out. Houston 19-14 over Green Bay. And then Brandon McManus nails his 45-yard field goal, signed this week by the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay 24, Houston 22.
Packers go to 5-2 with that win. Also today, the Indianapolis Colts get over the 500 mark as they knock off the Miami Dolphins. Buffalo takes care of business rather easily against Tennessee. Also, the Browns not only lost the game to Cincinnati, Deshaun Watson, torn Achilles. He is done for the year. Jacksonville won in England, getting their second win, handing New England its 6th straight loss. We're just getting started here on the OT presented by Lowe's. Much more to come your way, including going back out to Santa Clara, where Patrick Mahomes will speak with Aaron Andrews after leading his team to a 6-0 start as they try and win their 3rd straight Super Bowl. Also, we'll have Tom Brady, who called the game with Kevin Burkhardt. He'll join us live here on the OT as we wind our way towards Game 6 of the National League Championship Series over on FS1. Hey, the pregame guys getting ready to see if the Mets can keep hope alive by beating the Dodgers, or if the Dodgers win and move on to the World Series.
On game days, you show up loud.
You show up early.
You show up in snowstorms and heat waves just for us.
But only 66% of voters showed up to the 2020 election.
Which is why this election, we need everyone to make their voice heard.
Whether you're in New York,
Arizona,
Miami,
yeah, even Dallas.
Now, it's time to show up for our country.
And all we have to do is vote.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Mark Hoagies, your new head coach.
Okay, guys, culture change, okay? We're bringing back an old school mentality. Yeah, this team sucks. Take this, I'm done.
Universal Basic Guys, special time tonight after football.
Who do you think you are?
I'm Pac-Man.
Hey, Pat Mann was not perfect, didn't throw a touchdown pass today, but he just keeps on winning. They're the last unbeaten team in the National Football League at 6-0. And after the victory just moments ago, Patrick Mahomes spoke with Aaron Andrews.
Patrick, a plug-and-play game. I feel like that's been the story of your life here this season, right? With injuries going in and out on offense and defense, yet you guys continue to move forward. How are you guys able to do this?
Yeah, I think it comes from the leadership of the group. Everybody steps up and makes the plays whenever their numbers are called, and we do it. We find ways. I mean, it's not always pretty. It's not always looks the best. But at the end of the day, we're going to find a way to get a win.
Can I tell you what was pretty? The longest run of your career. Did you know that 33-yard run was the longest of your career?
I did not know that was long. I need to get my yards up, though, because 33 is not that long. No, it was. I ended up just cutting back down the sideline, trying to make a play in a big moment, and we were able to get in the end zone.
Yeah, and you got in the end zone there, and your defense lost their mind when you popped the San Francisco defender there. I know you've been giving your defense credit all week long, but they were losing it.
No, yeah, we support each other. We're a big family over here, and I wasn't even really trying to run them over. I was just trying to get in the end zone, and I'm a little heavy, so I got some weight to me, and I ended up getting in there.
5-0 now against Kyle Shanahan and these 49ers. You told me this week the one thing that you really have to take note of is extreme focus, because it's going to take one play. What is it like going up in these matchups with these guys?
Yeah, they're a great football team. They got a lot of great players, and it comes down to little things. We obviously got turned the ball over too many times, but our defense got turnovers, and it's a team game, and we found a way to get a win.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah.
All right, so they found a way to get a win today on the road at San Francisco, and they just keep on winning. Tom Brady called the game for us here on Fox. And Tom, let me ask you, what's more impressive, the fact that as the Hunt, they just keep on winning, or they've been able to do it 2 weeks in a row without Patrick Mahomes throwing a single touchdown pass?
I know. He's actually crazy stats this year for him. Only 6 touchdowns. I think he's up to 8 interceptions now, but what I love about his game is he's just finding ways to win. And we talked about the scramble there, which was really impressive, kind of fake the shuttle pass and then get outside the pocket. I just think he's doing whatever he needs to help this team win. And he knows he's got a defense that's going to limit points, limit yards. And when you have that, it's just a different mentality for a quarterback. He doesn't have to feel like he goes out there and it's like bombs over Baghdad. He just takes what they give him. If it's not there, he throws it away, plays field position, gets some contributions in special teams, and just an all-around great team effort for a great team win.
Hey, Tom, it's Terry. I thought before the season started, I thought they would really struggle Kansas City early. I thought everybody'd line up and give them their best. But my gosh, they're 6-0 right now. You look at the way they're playing, they're not aggressive with their passing attack. They only had like 150 yards passing today. Not a lot throwing deep this year. But yet they're winning with their running game and defense. I'm starting to think, wow, this team might just really be the team going back to the Super Bowl again based on the way they're playing right now. Do you somewhat agree with that?
Yeah, I said during the game, efficient, not explosive. They tried a few downfield throws, didn't hit them. But what do? They hand it off. They run those inside zone runs. They push the pocket, 3 or 4 or 5 yard gains. By the end of the day, they got huge time of possession, really wearing out the other team's defensive line. And then they got some of those little bootlegs to flip at the ball out there in the flat and gain a lot of extra yards. So tough to defend. Certainly, I saw some of your pregame, and I saw Howie and Stray trying to defend Kelsey out there, who was Jay Glazer. Not quite the same, but at the same time, that defense made a few things look pretty easy. And Travis came up with his fair share of plays.
We were physical, though, Tom. We
try. Jay is a hard one to get on the ground. I will admit, he's a little heavy than we thought. I may go to chiropractor when we finish the show.
He's got a low center of gravity.
Very low center.
He's got a very low center of gravity.
So we're watching this game, and before we talked about how they had lost 4 in a row to Kansas City. And I don't know if you know the feeling of when a team has your number.
Oh, boy.
But do you think that they just have their number?
I'm out
of here. Do you think that Kansas City just has the 49ers number?
Hey, so listen, the Giants don't have my number. Michael Strahan has my number. That's a different problem for me. But it is frustrating when you feel like Niners probably put a lot of energy into this week going, man, we got to get over the hump. We got to figure out a way. And, hey, we can't turn the ball over, 3 turnovers. We got to stop Mahomes from scrambling. He's scrambling. So it's tough when you come in with a game plan and then you just don't execute the game plan. Got to be very frustrating for Kyle Shanahan. And in the Super Bowl last year, the margin of error was so slim. A few third downs that the Niners didn't convert late in the game, got some pressure. This game wasn't that close. I mean, we were here. Niners could never really gain control. They got close, and of course the Chiefs found a way, and a lot of creative play calling by Coach Reid. That guy just always finds a way. It's like I see him on the sideline. Nothing phases him. What a leader for an organization.
Hey, what a day for you, Tom Brady. You got to see what it's like to be part of the pregame. You're here early in the morning.
Yep.
You're here at the end of the day. We appreciate you doing it all. And a great interview, by the way, with Patrick Mahomes pregame. Thank you so much, Tom. We'll see you next week.
See you, man.
See you later.
Thanks, guys. See you next week, guys. Yeah, safe travels home, everyone.
Thank you. You too. You too. Hey, Jimmy, look, we talk about them being the team that is haunted. No team has ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row for a reason. You had back-to-back Super Bowl teams with Dallas, didn't get to go for that third in a row. But when you take a look at this, are you more impressed with this, at least the start of the season, compared to other years where they've kind of been up and down and felt their way through it?
You know, we talked about Patrick Mahomes and not having the statistics. You know, we talked about the touchdowns and the interceptions. But he makes crucial plays. When they really need it, he's made a play. And the thing about it, their defense has been so good. The defense really carried this football team a year ago for their Super Bowl run. And they're doing the same thing again this year. You know, look at the big turnovers that they got in this ball game. You know, their defense has stepped it up a notch. And I think with the way the defense is playing and the way we know Patrick Mahomes can play, when he gets everybody healthy, hey, they'll be as good as anybody in the league.
Yeah, it's interesting. The defense is great right now, and that's a given. Can the offense evolve? You know, they've had a lot of injuries out wide at the wide receiver position, Pacheco in the backfield. Their tackles, to me, are an issue that continues to be, I think, a concern. Can the offense evolve? He missed on a couple of big throws today that would have maybe kind of got them going. Missed on the one big throw. He had him open on a single high safety, and it would have been the perfect throw, and it would have got them, I think, back on track with an explosive play, which opens things up underneath.
Well, I'm just saying, but looking at it, I think for Kansas City, having Hunt come back, been a big addition to the running game, very physical. But as when you're the 49ers or any team that plays the Kansas City Chiefs, and you know that their best player is not doing some of the things that he has done best in the past, to his best right now, and they're still winning, the proposition of what that means in the future is scary for everybody who's going to play them. And there's nothing more demoralizing as a team or as a defense when you're out there and it's the third down. They were 8 of 14 on third downs. Staying on the field, when you think you got somebody and they break loose and he makes that big run and he does these things, you start to just throw your hands up. Like there's nothing we can do to stop them. And that's how they look right now.
Andy Reid is running the ball, not because he's worried about his passing, I don't think, but Andy Reid is dominating at the line of scrimmage now, which is not something I'm used to seeing. I'm used to seeing him move the ball through the air.
But Terry, one reason he's running the football is simply no different than what we did with the Cowboys back a long time ago. We led the league in defense, you know, and so we could be conservative and run the football offensively with Emmett, you know, because we didn't want to take chances to turn it over.
But I'm surprised at how physical the O-line was.
And you were comfortable playing in close games. Which when you're going to run the football, you're not going to throw it a lot. You're not going to look for dynamic plays. You have to be comfortable winning games.
And your quarterback is fine with it, and he's the superstar.
So let me ask you real quick, moving forward, is there anybody you see in the league right now that can beat Kansas City?
The Ravens might be the only team in the AFC.
The Ravens in the AFC or the league?
In the league.
Detroit is another team.
Detroit's got a shot. You're right.
You know the thing, Minnesota, but the thing about the NFL, which is so different from every sport, and I always tell people this, you get one shot. Yeah. You don't get best of 5, but best of 7. Yeah. You show up that one day and you're off, you're done. Yes. And so anybody can beat them. It's just a matter if somebody's going to show up on their best day when maybe Kansas City doesn't have their
best.
And
plus, it's a long season. Injuries are going to have a major effect on every one of these teams. You know, you can lose a couple of good, star players. You can go from
already
really
hit Kansas City, and yet they're still winning. Amazing.
Yep. Right. And we see San Francisco, one of those banged-up teams right now. We'll give them time to kind of maybe come back and be one of those teams at the end as well. We continue here on the OT presented by Ford. We'll get inside some of the winning locker rooms, including, yes, that Detroit team that is now 5-1 after knocking off Minnesota. First team to beat them this year. And, of course, over on FS1 at the top of the hour, it's Game 6 in the NLCS. The Dodgers 1 win away from the World Series. The Mets trying to hang on. Well, every time this postseason the Mets have needed a hero, they have found one to stay alive. They've been exciting to watch, but the Dodgers have been winning more. They are up 3-2 in this best of 7. Game 6 starts at the top of the hour over on FS1. Dodgers with a win move on to face the Yankees in the World Series. If you're staying with us here at Fox, it's an all-new episode of Universal Basic Guys after we are done here with the OT. But more OT coming your way, including getting inside those winning locker rooms, including the Seahawks, who are now in first place in the NFC West.
All it takes is everything we got. We won this game, man. Monday, okay, through Saturday. We won it Monday through Saturday in your preparation. It took every man and woman in this locker room. Just keep our heads down and keep plugging away, man. That's what we say we're gonna do. We're always gonna do that.
Perfection isn't attainable. It's not. But if you chase perfection, you can catch excellence. All right? So that's what we got to keep doing, man. Hey, that's the 4th win, man. Now we got to go get number 5.
Composure, right? Communication, also attitude, patience. My God, man, you guys do better than I.
Hey, man, let's keep building on this, bro. Keep building on this. There's so much more out there. At the end of the day, it's all about the team. All phases came out, showed up. O-line, I love y'all boys. Tight ends, I love y'all boys. Let's keep moving. Until next week.
This Detroit team, you know, they just keep on rolling.
Well, you know, in a week, you know, they could have taken a step back. They had a big win against Dallas. They lead the division after beating Minnesota.
Yeah, and I think Minnesota, it's the best division in football. Game could have gone either way, but it's one of those games that when you're ready to take the next step, you win a game like this at home, which is really important in this kind of a battle in this division. Detroit's so poised, so tough mentally and physically. They're just an impressive football team. And Minnesota's, they're on the come.
As you talked about so often this time of year, it stays down to who can stay healthy. Jay Glazer joins us right now to talk about some of the injuries that have occurred here so far in Week 7. Jay?
Yeah, very painful loss for the 49ers. Actually gets a little bit worse. Brandon Ayuk, he was carted off out of that game earlier today. The 49ers do fear that it's a torn ACL. Obviously, that would end his season if, in fact, tests do reveal that it's a torn ACL. But just a difficult day here for the 49ers. Let's get you through some other injury news items. Jaden Daniels left their game early. Tomorrow, so they can determine how long he'll be out. A couple of guys were pulled today at quarterback. Andy Dalton over here and Daniel Jones, both pulled by their head coaches. However, both head coaches, Dave Canales and Brian Daboll, say they will still be the starters moving forward. Deshaun Watson today, he went down for Cleveland. I think you guys said it earlier. They fear that it's a torn Achilles. And how about this? His contract, they still owe him a guarantee of this year and $92 million over the next 2 years, regardless of that health. And one other news item here, big win for the Seattle Seahawks, but DK Metcalf, he was carted off in that game. He has a knee injury. They don't think it's very severe. They don't know yet. They're going to give him further tests tomorrow. But again, Brandon Ayuk,
with you, Terry.
You know what? I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker, a third-year running back out of Michigan State. Carries and 69 yards, and Seattle is in first place, just like Jay said.
Kansas City defense, and, you know, these are odd times. They smother you in the secondary. They're great tacklers, great group.
Well, I'm going to go to another running back, a guy who I think think the world of. at MetLife Stadium where he started his career. So congratulations to Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I got to relate to coaches, you know, and I look at all the you know, they have come from rock bottom. Remember how Detroit was back about 4 or 5 years ago? You know, they're top of the league right now.
What you won at 15?
I love the way he coaches.
Weren't you 1 at 15?
One time.
One. No, but
trying to get to his first World Series. All right, we're minutes away from the first pitch of Game 6 of the NLCS. The Mets need to win this game to stay alive and force a Game 7. If the Dodgers win, they move on to the World Series to face the New York Yankees. Staying here on Fox, Universal Basic Guys starts now.